so many photos yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, bueno. Tú me dices cuando ya lo prendes.
Listo.
Yeah.
Ya.
Chemi,
Yes.
thank you for being here in Mexico with Ilan and with Shimon Peres Center. I have first a question about your dad.
Okay.
We all know he was a very good leader. We know him as a politic, but like a father, what is the most important memory you have? A story, something that happened with that Shimon Peres, the dad.
As a father?
Yes.
As a father, he was a very special father. He was always sharing with us stories from his meetings and travels around the world.
So you know many secrets around there.
I know many secrets. And he was traveling around the world. When I was a child, he was traveling a lot around the world, and I've seen places we could only imagine.
Like, tell us a story about one of the trips or something like that.
There's so many trips, but he usually spoke about people that he met, books that he read, places that he'd seen, new kinds of food that he tasted, lifestyle, ideas, places. He had a great ability to describe and tell stories. And we were fascinated by the stories. So he's one of the of the best storytellers that I knew. And there was always an expectation to see him back coming for the weekend and to hear the stories he would give us. He would bring us from time to time little presents. And he always remembered to relate to every one of us. He wrote us a lot of postcards. And he taught us a lot of things. He usually would, not tell you what to do, but tell you what he does, and through that send a message or inspire you. So he was a very inspirational father, not the kind of a person that would tell you you should do this, you should do that, but rather how you should find your way and discover your potential and flourish and grow.
In that area, he was a dreamer.
Yes.
And he always talks about dreams,
Yes.
dreams and having them and keep dreaming. But was there a dream that he told you he couldn't accomplish and you or this Shimon Peres Center did accomplish now or aren't put away? Something that he wanted to do. And
specifically there were two things that we realized after his passing away. The first was his last book, Soñar sin límites. That he
you speak Spanish?
He didn't live to see the book, but he managed to finish the drafting work. He knew that the book would be published one way or another, and we realized that, and it was one of his last dreams to send a message to the young generation after his life, inspire them through the book to be resilient, to be optimistic, to dream, not to be cynical, to believe in your ability to face all the challenges and opposition that you have as long as you believe in what you do, not to be afraid to be controversial, to do the right thing that you believe in, to be resilient, to know that sometimes you have to go through a desert before you reach your destination. And when he wrote the book, he said, I don't want to spend too much time on the past, so the book will be in bullet points, but I will send a message that if you want to change the future, it has to be very detailed. And in the book, things that he wrote about were things that were actually changing realities. Building a nuclear facility in Israel against all the odds, or Entebbe, liberating the hostages in an operation that nobody thought could be done, or founding the state of Israel against all the odds, or signing a peace agreement.
the Oslo agreements.
With the Egyptians, with the Jordanians, and you know, interesting lesson from the book is sometimes when you do something which seems to be controversial, in hindsight, in the perspective of history, it gains coalition and support the majority. If you ask, for example, about the Independence Declaration, half of the people were against it. Today, every Israeli think that the Independence Declaration was 100%
support. Many of the things that your father did, many people were against it. With the Oslo Agreement, it was also, half Israel was against the peace treatment, and now we see the results with Egypt and with other countries.
Yes, and we see also the nuclear facility had a lot of opposition. Entebbe had a lot of opposition. Peace with Egypt had a lot of opposition. But in the perspective of history, people can judge what was the right decision to take. Oslo will be judged in decades from now, whether it was right to recognize the coexistence of the Palestinians and Israel and make an effort to have peace. I do believe these are the foundations of the future peace between Israelis and Palestinians. But sometimes you need a perspective to judge. But you know that when you do the right thing, even though you were a forerunner with all the conflicts and opposition and being controversial, in hindsight, in the perspective of history, you did the right thing.
Is there something that Shimon Peres told you that he regrets?
Yes, he told me that when he wrote the book, No Room for Small Dreams, I asked him if he has regrets. And his answer was, you know, I look back now, what we have achieved, and I know what we were hoping to achieve. And I know that our dreams were too small. And his regret was that
imagine what it would be if
they
did
not dream more, and they did not dream bigger. They did not aspire more, because their reality exceeded the dreams. And his regrets were that maybe the dreams were not bigger.
That's interesting. One of the biggest dreams was to have peace all around there. And that's something that the Shimon Peres Center and Ilan Foundation here in Mexico is trying to be. You know, after the agreement with Egypt, the economy of Israel was better, and also the one in Egypt that's the way it has to be first peace, and after that a big economy, or economics can be the way to have peace all around Israel, with Syria, with the Palestinians, I don't know.
It's not in contradiction, it's one fulfilling the other. If you live peacefully, you can have a better economy. If you have a better economy, you can have more peace. And I think both of them are basically strengthening each other. It's not a question of either or. I think that my father managed to twine basically two things: his ability to dream and his ability to serve. Because the things that he wrote in the book are actually service for the nation. You serve the nation in building its defense industry. You serve the nation by building its economy. And you serve the nation by thriving for peace. But those are also dreams. So if you manage to merge your dreams and serving a great cause, it's a very powerful formula. And that is what made my father such a great person, because he said, you are as great as the cause you serve. And he always served a greater cause. But also your ability to dream and to think about tomorrow, and being ready to be controversial today in order to achieve the right thing for tomorrow, and be courageous even if you have a lot of opposition, is what made him the ability to realize the dreams.
We're talking about your father, but I want to know about the Shimon Peres and the treatments or your work. Now in Mexico, you came here in Mexico with Ilan,
yes,
that is the Latin American network, Israel.
Yes.
What is your job? How do you see the expectation of commerce between Latin America and Israel and Latin America and the Shimon Peres work?
So I believe that Israel in many ways is a role model for many, many countries in the world on how you can flourish and grow strong based on your ability to innovate and based on your ability to realize dreams. And Israel is a story of dreaming and realization. And the vision that my father had, that Isaac Asa is subscribed to this vision, is that we must work very hard together to enter a new era. An era where nations around the world are growing strong based on their ability to innovate for a better future, not to fight each other, not to take away from others land or natural resources, or enslave people for cheap labor. That's not the way to become great, because you become great on the expense of others. The idea was that every nation needs to become great based on its ability to become an innovation nation. When you become an innovation nation, you don't have to fight anybody, because with the power of your young generation, its ability to innovate, to build new technologies, you can compensate for everything that you lack. If you don't have water, with innovation you can take water from the sea, you can desalinate it and use it. If you don't have oil and gas, you can extract energy from the sun and you can use it. So with science and technology, we can become strong and great, and we don't do it on the expense of others. Some people say that democracies are peaceful countries because they have the checks and balances of going to war. And we are saying that beyond that, if you are an innovation nation, you don't even need checks and balances. You don't have a cause to go to war. So his idea was that if Israel and Mexico and other countries around the world will become empires of the mind, innovation nations, there will be a more peaceful world, because each country can be strong not on the expense of others. On the contrary, if you create collaboration, if you open the border and you let ideas and people flow and coordinate how to deal with all the threats that we are building as human beings, we're changing the climate. Climate change is a result of human action. No single country can face climate change. It has to be a coordinated global
Yes, it has to be effort. It's not, I just have the climate around me.
Exactly. So no reason to close your borders. On the contrary, you have to reach out beyond borders and to collaborate in order to address all the threats that we as human beings are creating as we move into the future. Science and innovation can be used in very bad ways. In order to control it and make sure it's used in the right way, we have to coordinate. We have to work together to face threats on global terrorism. We have to collaborate. So that's why Isaac and Ilan, my father's vision, are coming together. Let's make Mexico an innovation nation, and Israel. Let's collaborate, let's work together, and let's be strong, side by side, together, without fighting each other.
Just to finish, and
yes.
You are one of the most important pieces in Israel, and I can say in the world maybe. What will be your recommendation of the opportunities that has now Israel for anyone who wants to invest, I don't know, in Mexico, Latin America, in Israel in Mexico? What will it be the most important recommendation you can give them in these opportunities?
I can talk for Israel. I can say that the most important thing for companies and investors is to be engaged with Israel. And the reason is that Israel has such a DNA, such a special DNA about competitive innovation, that anybody who interacts with Israeli companies and the Israeli ecosystem can become much more competitive on a global basis. We know that because we've spoken to a lot of global enterprises that came to Israel to look for innovation. And they stated that their interaction with Israel, with the unique atmosphere of entrepreneurship and audacity and daring, is such that it helped them better compete in the world. And look at Jack Ma from Alibaba. He said that he came to Israel in order to understand how to be resilient in a competitive world. And he said that Israel was a source of inspiration for him, how to build a company that will be competitive and resilient. And other companies are stating it as well. They face a lot of competition in a world that is changing very fast. Their ability to partner with Israeli companies and to understand their DNA helps them also to be very competitive. So collaborate with Israel. Do it, of course, your own way. But the collaboration has a certain power that can be discovered only if you reach out.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. You have your father's feelings, your father. That blessed you were saying every book. Thank you for being here in Mexico, and we will be glad in Diálogo Judío to be collaborated with Israel and with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have to go?